myself, Dr. Yamini Ramesh, and I welcome you on behalf of Homeopathy Junction and Asha Homeopathic Academy. It's my request, please keep yourself muted and don't unmute yourself in between. So today, as a speaker, we have with us Dr. Krutik Shah, the proud child of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, and we are very happy to have you, sir. You're welcome, and it's our pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Krutik Shah is a consultant of cancer, AIDS, and de-addiction. He's a senior homeopath. He's a very well-known homeopath from Gujarat, and he has received many recognitions. Few of them I want to list. One is he's a consultant homeopath for the Honorable Governor of Gujarat, Raj Bhavan, Gandhinagar. He has received Bharat Gaurav Award at British Parliament, London, UK. He has received award for most promising homeopathic professional by Ministry of AYUSH, Government of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of Gujarat, AACCI, and Vibrant Gujarat 2019, Ahemdabad. International Homeopathic Healthcare Leadership Award by Asian African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, New Delhi, and Dishawal Shiromani Award by Vishwa Dishawal Parivar, Bombay. He's a historian homeopath who is a creator of largest, latest, and most modern technological development in the history of homeopathy in the state of Gujarat. And today he will be sharing a very interesting topic, Dr. Hahnemann's aphorisms on epidemic diseases and its management. And he mainly teaches organon and its principles. And we are looking forward to learn from you, sir. Most welcome from Asha Homeopathic Academy and Homeopathy Junction. And now you can take over.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yamini ji. Am I audible clearly?
Yeah, you're audible, sir, but your sound is a little low.
Now, am I audible clearly?
Yeah, this is better.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. Sir,
Well,
I want to tell you only one thing. After sharing your screen, you must be seeing one option on your top of the screen, more karke. There is a option of more. So just drop down the more menu and there you will see one option, disable participants annotation. Please click that.
okay, I have done that.
Okay, okay. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Yamini and Dr. Vaibhav for giving an opportunity to share something at the platform of Homeopathy Junction. What I have received as a student of homeopathy, and I really appreciate your efforts. What you have been doing all the way through. I really get a lot of inspiration from your activities, and I'm happy to be here as a part of it. Uh, okay, you want me to raise now? Now I think I need to shout, I guess. Uh,
No, sir,
am
it
I
is
not
better
audible
now.
to you?
Earlier it was a little low, but it is better now.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so apart from the recognition what Dr. Yamini ji has said, well, I believe the best award or the best recognition what you can get in your life is when you bring a smile on your patient's face with your best of efforts and giving the best of medicine. So along with that, I always believe that I am blessed to be a homeopath, and I always consider myself a proud child of Samuel Hahnemann because Samuel Hahnemann is the father of homeopathy, to whom the whole world is coming now, because homeopathy is the second most popular system of medicine in the world. Now, before beginning my lecture, I would like to take the Hahnemannian oath, and I request you also should read along with me, because whatever we are today, it's because of this great man. On my honor, I swear that I shall practice the teachings of homeopathy, perform my duty, render justice to my patient, and help the sick whosoever comes to me for treatment. May the teachings of Master Hahnemann inspire me, and may I have the strength for fulfillment of my mission. Jai Hahnemann, Jai Homeopathy. Well, to begin with the topic of epidemic disease, it's like first I have to give you a basic idea about homeopathy and its uniqueness in terms of treating the people. See, Hahnemann was a great allopath, the great allopath, And he was aware, what was the concept of allopathic science is that from the body, allopathic science have taken the concept of reductionism from body into system, and then there is a speciality. So we have gynecologists, we have dermatologists, we have nephrologists, we have gastroenterologists, we have neurologists, so many specialty. Then they went into organ and into cells. Then they have a system out of that. So Hahnemann, being aware that allopathic science has took the concept of reductionism, he took the concept of holism. As body is made up from one cell, whatever symptoms appeared on the different parts of the body are scientifically interconnected because everything is individual. No, the way no five fingers are the same, no two faces are the same. Even if you write your own name on paper, you will find the uniqueness, you will find the individuality, right? So this is the concept of holism. What is symptom? According to aphorism 7, symptom are the outward reflection of internal element, right? What is symptom? Symptom is which is either in excess or in deficiency. See, love, anger, sex, sympathy, jealousy, thirst, appetite, sleep, we have, this is in everyone, but it becomes either excess or deficiency becomes the characteristic. you know Pulsatilla is a very mild remedy, sulfur is a very egoistic remedy, phosphorus is a very sympathetic remedy, lachesis is a very jealous remedy, naxomica is very angry remedy, because it is in excess. That defines our character. So whatever symptom it is in excess brings them to an individuality. And that is how 82 aphorism works. That is individualization. This is how, if physician clearly perceives what is to be cured in the disease. But what do we mean by perceive? By senses. That's why connecting to it with 83 aphorisms, sound senses we want, right? So what is individuality? It's like the glass, a glass has a half is full with water, right? So one person will say it is full with water, right? The other will say it's empty, half empty. The third person will say half is full of water and half is full with air. So this is individuality. This is how, every individual sees the reality as a part of it. Opposite, similar example is like Taj Mahal. You see Taj Mahal, this is, one person will say it's one of the wonders of the love. Shah Jahan was a great lover. Sharjah was a great lover to Mumtaz and all these things, right? One of the greatest of monuments one of the greatest wonder of the world, right? The other person will say Sharjah was one of the most brutal emperor, most selfish emperor, because not only he wanted to create something of his ego, but he cut the hands of the people who made it, so that another Taj Mahal cannot be made. This is high level of egotism. The other person say, and selfishness. The other person will say, I have nothing to do with love. The exterior is good, the interior is good. It's a good place to have in the sit in a garden and have what you call snacks and all. Just spend good time. So this is individual. So this is the foundation of homeopathy, from where all the organon has taken up a shape. So holism, understanding symptomatology through individualization will give you to the remedy. Now I'm going to the point of epidemic disease. Dr. Yamini ji, am I going okay? Am I fast? Am I slow? You want me to have some corrections? Can you please tell? Or maybe people can tell me, am I okay? Am I fast? Am I slow? You want some suggestions from me?
It's fine, sir.
Fantastic.
It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Friends, I'll be very happy to hear from you as well in the chat box, because I don't like I'm not a typical teacher. I want a good energetic feedback from you as well. Okay. So now is the what is just a second. Okay. See, what are the types of diseases? Hahnemann has said there are basically in 73 aphorisms, there are 3 types of diseases. Individual, then it is sporadic, and third is epidemic. I am going to take to epidemic. I am not going to touch individual and sporadic here. But what is individual? As I said, the person who, anything which is abnormal, either the excess or deficiency, becomes a symptom. If you eat a lot, you will be in trouble. If you do not eat at all, you will be in trouble. If you have excessive physical exercise, you will be in trouble. You don't do any exercise, you will be in trouble. Excess of heat, excess of chill, strains physically or emotional strain, mental strain can produce a problem, acute disease. And that is what you call transient exposure SORA, that is aphorism 81. So you have a disturbance at the functional level. First, if it continues, goes to a disease level, and then maybe from functional to structural, and then grossly structural, advanced structural, what we say. So this is individual. If you have, it's like typically जैसे घर में शादी होती है, 4-5 दिन हम बहुत जगते हैं. It's like we have lot of stress of the work and all. Then after marriage, we take a break for 2 to 3 days, maybe to relax ourselves. That is the same here. If you have a stress of the exam, once you finish the exam, then you go for a rest for 2 to 3 days. Why? Because your body needs rest. Same is here. If you have excess, give a rest, you will become normal. That is return to normal state. Sporadic. What is sporadic? It's something what you call, meteoric and telluric influences. Environmental effect. Say for example, hay fever, allergy. Typical, runny nose and allergy and all. What is the time for hay fever in USA? Will never be the time in UK. Same time, having hay fever in UK, USA? Not possible. Different. Because weather plays a role. The time in UK can never be absolutely same to the time of USA, or be it with India. So sporadic, that is called allergies. Kind of, small in area we have that type of problem. But it is not common to all. If it becomes common to all, it is epidemic. Now the whole world is suffering from corona, right? Be it you take Italy, you take America, you take England, you take Germany, you take China, you take India, you take Pakistan, any country, everyone is suffering from corona. That is epidemic. That is epidemic. And in this, Hahnemann has said very clearly what the world is telling now, and that's what we have to do is social distancing. Hahnemann is telling here, thickly congregated masses of human beings. Where there is a more mass of the human being, epidemic will flood like anything. See what is happening with India. And what is the key of, prevent corona is social distancing. This is what Hahnemann is telling 250 years ago. What the world is telling now. In epidemic, stay away. If you stay connected, you are bound to get infection because it is because of the acute exciting cause. So, epidemic is the word from epidemos. It is general. Whole world is suffering from one disease. Whole what you call continent is suffering from one disease. This is epidemic. And epidemic is because of anything. It cannot be with single reason. It is not meteoritic or telluric. It is because of anything. Calamity of wars, famines, similarity in flood, etc. After flood, flood going into a big part of the country, the way we have an explosion of, cholera and all these things. It's like that. So now the world is facing with corona. My topic of taking this is for this wonderful, committed team doing great for homeopathy. The homeopathy junction is, I wanted to take this topic because we should know that we can treat corona very well. Organon is there to guide us how to treat. It is very easy. You just need to know only once. Philosophy, the homeopathic philosophy homeopathy is a child of nature. So the homeopathic philosophy itself is a child of nature. Nature never changes. Philosophy also never changes. You need to know only once. It's not like you have to upgrade your materia medica regularly. You have to upgrade your repertory regularly. You don't need to upgrade your organon regularly. You have to learn properly. That's all. That's very all. Right? So this is epidemic. In epidemic, what is actually epidemic? It is fever. In each instance of a peculiar fever, What is the scenario as of now with corona? Fever, high grade fever with respiratory pathology. It is very peculiar. Can you see a corona without respiratory problem? Can you see a patient of corona without respiratory problem? I don't think so, right? So corona is peculiar in this way, fever with respiratory issues, because the cases of the disease have an identical origin. People start from upper respiratory tract, going into lower respiratory tract, and then they go into cytokine storm to the next world. Similar pattern, identical morbid process. And what is the acute? Either death or recovery. Your vital force in a really bad situation, either to kill or to get killed. Right? Either death or recovery, either win or lose. And that's why, we have to support the vital force with whatever medicines we have. That's why, and Hahnemann always tells, especially if you see 82 aphorism footnote, we don't treat pneumonia, we treat patient of pneumonia. We don't treat cancer, we treat patient of cancer. We don't treat tuberculosis, we treat patient of tuberculosis. Right? In allopathy, it's a case of tuberculosis. Homeopathy, it's a case of pulsatilla. Allopathy, it's a case of typhoid fever. Homeopathy, it's a case of baptisia. Why? Because we individualize the patient. The remedies are the living people in the homeopathic world. Right? And why this epidemic is coming? Because of acute miasm. Either attacks once in life or reoccur. For granted, which is coming to you, either it is partially known or fully known. Always pay attention. Sound senses, in acute, if you are taking an acute case, you even need to have a more sound sense. Otherwise, acute is, there is no time, there is no chance. You have to be absolutely spot on, right? And carefully examine cases in different phases and try to find out the most prominent, unique character of the disease. But it is never possible to learn from one. You have to see multiple. Right? Differing vastly from all the previous epidemics. So what you have to do is individualization. Suppose I am going to treat 2 patients of coryza. First case I took, I gave natramur, then I forget the case of coryza. The second case of coryza, I see with equal clarity and freedom of mind, no prejudice. Similar should be the story with epidemics. Complete freedom of mind. Don't go to the past, right? This is how your mindset should be in going for the epidemic case taking. It's quite easy. The only person who can help you in acute case is you. The only person who can help you is you. You know your fundamentals properly. Sky is the limit. Now, what you have to do? 101. Find total information. Find proper case of epidemic. Say, for example, in corona, a lot of additions have been made. First we started with pneumonia, then it had a loss of taste along with fever, then they have loss of smell along with fever, then diarrhea came on the picture, then other thing came on picture. Because the world is learning of corona. We also need to learn corona in a holistic way if you want to handle the epidemic. So it may easily happen that we find information, it's like, not all the provers give all the symptoms of a rat. One prover will give 10%, second prover will give 5%, the other prover will give 15%, the fourth prover. So we collect 100%. Similarly, in epidemic disease as well, not a one patient will give you 100% information of epidemic. What is needed? Multiple patients. So you see multiple patients. Dr. Rajan Shankaran, he has seen a lot of patients, then he came to a conclusion of camphor. People have seen so many patients here in India, then they came with arsenic, then they came with bryonia, then they came with gelsemia. Why? It's not with one patient, it's with multiple patients. But if you're sharp in observation, you can find from 1 to 3 patients only. Right? So it is like not one patient will give you 100%. he does not once obtain a knowledge of its complete picture, but close observation of several cases of a collective disease. Then you find totality of signs and symptoms. And what is totality of signs and symptoms? Paragraph 17, paragraph 18, the best way to cure. If you have proper totality, you rest assured. The most difficult part is done. Careful observing physician. However, this is to the greatest of the greatest, especially Samuel Hahnemann, with his case of scarlet fever. You know, examination of even first or second patient come to a medicine. What you call genus epidemics. You know, first or second patient arrive so nearly at a knowledge of the true state as to have in his mind a characteristic portrait. And even succeed to find a suitable homeopathic remedy. This is how you should find the information, right? You try to get the maximum possible detail about the epidemic and then confirm. You find, then you confirm, you critically confirm. See, homeopathy is like a novel, organon is like a novel, right? What was 100? What was, first you understand, what was 100 aphorism? Individual, what you call investigation of an individual epidemic, because it is individual. Second, find the totality. Third, confirm the totality. In the course of writing down the symptoms, you to sketch the portrait of the disease becomes more and more complete. You see more and more patient, you find more and more confirmed information. The characteristic will become more characteristic and the general become peculiar. Then you come to a conclusion. See, the loss of smell with corona was not there since the beginning. It confirmed just, a few weeks ago, probably few months ago. Similarly, what was the people were dying because of cytokine storm. Nobody was aware in the early stage when there was a outbreak in China, or it was there in devastating effect in Italy. People were considering it's something different happening. Then they realized cytokine storm, the last stage. You are at the definite end of your life. On the other hand, general symptom become particular. And then whatever symptom you have received, confirm. At least you will come to know with a classic combination. See the beautiful word used by Hahnemann. At least in same combination. What is same combination? Typical. Coryza with loss of smell. Typical. Coryza with loss of taste. Pneumonia. Whatever I have heard, most of the people of pneumonia, COVID pneumonia, is affecting the right side of the lung. I may be wrong, but what I have observed is quite confirmed opinion. So this is characteristic. That's why remedies like bryonia picks up, arsenic picks up. So totality, 100 aphorism was individual epidemic. Second is 100 was individual epidemic. 101 is to total. What you call find the total, and 102 is confirm the totality. And you come to a prescription. And here, what Hahnemann is telling is very beautiful. Same epidemic is same disease. It's not different disease. Say, for example, you can't say the symptom of people from what you call Italy were different in corona than what is here in India as a part of corona. No, the whole humanity is suffering from because of one disease, that is corona. So same epidemic, same disease. What we are finding is ramification, individual. In normal coryza also, people have loss of smell, loss of taste. But if it is happening in this moment, this is considered to be a part of epidemic. So, whole extent of such an epidemic disease, of totality of symptom, cannot be learned from single patient, but from multiple patients. So, if you want to come to a genus epidemicus, or you want to come to the best medicine, or maybe the group of the medicine, in corona there are stages, they have different medicines. In first or second stage, arsenic works best, bryonia works best, Gelsemium works very best. Ferrum phos works very best. It's like that. That is the stage of pneumonia. Arsenic, antim tart, anti-Mars works very best. In the last stage, lachesis, bothrops, scrotalus horridus. So there are stages. Similarly here, you find the totality with what is visible to you. Right? This was very, very much important. And now what Hahnemann is telling is why only certain group of people are getting sick. Some people dies, agree. Some people goes to ICU, comes back. Some people have no symptoms. And some people, they have very, very minor symptom and they recover. Why this happen? Why single epidemic disease affects different people at different, what you call the strength, the intensity is basically what you call is sora. This is typical. Why do I get sick? Is 81st aphorism and its footnote. Even if you see 80 aphorism, confirms that. Why do I get sick? Similarly here, in the same manner, epidemic disease, which are generally of an acute character, miasmatic chronic maladies, which I have shown here, remain in the same essence, especially so, must be investigated. Whenever we are taking the patient, we see the patients of acute, but we try to find out the individual symptom, which will also help us to find antisoric medicine also. One way, we have a set of acute medicines. Second, we have a set of antisoric remedies. How to find antisoric remedies? Theory of chronic disease. So this way, we can understand why this person died, why this person came out of ICU, why this person has only limited symptom, and why this person had no symptoms. It's because of this specific reason. And what you need to do in order to make these people not to get sick is antisoric. I really wonder the way what I'm witnessing, what I'm seeing, the people are becoming normal to corona. We need a study, we need a concern, we need to worry. Can they become again a carrier symptomatic? Because ultimately corona is epidemic. If you find exciting cause again, you have a relapse. But the world is not taking care of it. This is a big problem. The one time corona negative does not mean corona negative forever. What homeopathy says, you cure permanently, but you have to remove the exciting cause or maintaining cause. Then only the cause will be, the cure will be permanent. Otherwise, you have a relapse. So this is actually 103 aphorism. And into this is the beauty. This is the real beauty. That antisoric, the way it is, the way genus epidemicus is found from different people. Similarly, antisoric is found also seeing different people. Whole array of symptoms belonging to such miasmatic chronic disease, and especially the sora, can only be ascertained from the observation of very many single patients. What do you mean by very many and single? See, Hahnemann was a great man, writing very critically. Very many individual patients, making individualization, checking the patient singly. Affected with the chronic disease, without a complete survey, collective picture of those symptoms, medicine was able to produce homeopathically, that is antisoric, cannot be discovered. That's what Hahnemann is telling. If I'm going to take you to straight away to 230 plus aphorisms, which is going on to this epidemic disease. The last Hahnemann tells very clearly that give antisoric to those people who have recovered. Otherwise, they will come back with a relapse. Right? So this is about case taking. 73 was understanding the acute. 100 is every epidemic is individual. 101 is find total. 102 is confirm the total, confirm the remedies. And 103 is in the investigation of SORA in anti-soric remedies. Right? I hope it is clear to you. Friends, can I have your feedback? Am I okay? Are you able to understand? Yes, thank you, Dr. Kavita ji. Thank you, Dr. Urbi. Thank you, Dr. Vibha. Thank you, Dr. Nisha. I like healthy feedback. Huh? I am open for criticisms as well. Thank you. Thank you very much, people. Thank you, friends. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So now is about management side. What was first was what is epidemic? 73. So 100, 101, 102, 103 is case taking of epidemic, and now the treatment of epidemic. Right? The treatment is the most important part for us to understand. Then my lecture will be over. Treatment is last part, but it's very important part. With regard to intermittent fever that prevails sporadically or epidemically, every epidemic has a paroxysm. It's fever. It has paroxysm. What is the paroxysm of? Okay, so it's like it's like with corona. What is that? What is the spike? What is the paroxysm? Is fever of heat stage is very prominent with respiratory pathogen. This is a typical spike of corona. You cannot find corona having, by going through skin or going through GIT or going through urine. No, it is exclusively the spike of corona. And whenever there is an intermittent fever, the world always, this is very important, it's a big, I would say, comedy with tragedy in homeopathy, or comedy with tragedy in the present scenario of corona, where whole world was behind chloroquine, 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 chloroquine. Donald Trump had threatened the India. The honorable president of USA threatened India to send chloroquine medicines, right? Because ultimately that seemed to be helping, and India supplied. But what is the scenario in USA? Complete failure. This is what Hahnemann is telling here 250 years ago, that chloroquine will never work all the time. Will never work. You are making the health of the people, sick people, down because of chloroquine or because of quinine. The pathology in the state of irrational infancy, one single intermittent fever, termed ague, malaria, fever with shivering, admits no other varieties like quotidian, tertian, etc. But homeopathically, there are many varieties, very many varieties. This is a scenario. Corona single stage of heat is very high. People go with 101, 102, 103 with practically no chill or limited perspiration. The opposite is these are the examples in organon only. Internally cold, externally hot, or internally hot, externally cold. Another paroxysm has lot of fever, lot of cold, lot of perspiration. Another stage, no perspiration. That's why typical what you call the repertory of intermittent fever is of great help if you want to handle the cases of fever properly. Otherwise, you can't take totality. You have to see the sphere of action. Proper consultation with proper evaluation is always a key for success. So different intermittent fevers, and this is the beauty, the masterpiece. I especially put a star. What do you call it? What is what we speak in the Bollywood? She's a star kid. What do you call a star kid? Right? Janhvi Kapoor is a star kid of what you call Boni Kapoor, or Karishma Kapoor is a star kid. Kareena Kapoor is a star kid. This is a star aphorism. This aphorism is present at this very moment. What is the aphorism? accessory symptoms. Whenever there is a fever, we have certain unique symptoms which gives us to a prescription. What is the accessory symptom of corona? Smell, loss of smell, loss of taste, bitter taste in mouth, weakness, diarrhea, and which are quite intense. This is mentioned in Henry Organon. 250 years ago, this person is writing like this. Can you think about it? Innumerable other differences, especially in regards to accessory symptoms, such as headache of peculiar type, bad taste in the mouth, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, want of thirst, excessive thirst, particular pains in the body, disturbed sleep, alteration of temper, spasm, before, during, or after cold stage, before, during, or after heat stage, before, during, or after sweat stage. So in corona, we are getting very good symptoms for best prescription according to this aphorism, because we get accessory symptoms, very unique symptoms. Presently, corona is an area of research. We don't know its pathophysiology. We don't know its prognosis. So whatever symptom we are getting can be considered a PQRS or accessory symptoms for prescription. You apply, you see. All these are manifestly important fevers of very different kind, each of which, as mighty nature be supposed, requires a special homeopathic treatment. That's why if you treat a patient of corona, you give arsenic. You see another case of corona, Chalcedonium. You see another case of corona, pulsatilla. You see another case of corona, bryonia. You see another case of corona, entimton. Why? Because accessory symptoms or the peculiar symptoms are guiding us to the remedy. This is a star aphorism of present scenario. This aphorism is the key for success. The real unfortunate, the pity is the world is not hearing the voice of homeopaths. That we are able to treat COVID, we are able to treat corona from first stage to fourth or maybe fifth stage, but we are not allowed to treat. Government is restricting us. Even allopathic doctors are restricting us. Allopathic doctors are aware of the potential of homeopathy, but they don't want that homeopath should be taken over. Otherwise, their shops will be closed. But either if they don't opt homeopathy by choice, they have to opt by compulsion. A time will come where they have to be on their knees favoring homeopathy, and the time is very near, my dear friends. How to treat this type of fever? Treatment is very easy. You either see this acute or you see the constitutional similarity of symptom with best prescription. Many fevers, I've seen fevers, where high grade fever with no characteristic symptom. Remedies, Pharophos. Many fevers, all this pattern, either or, this or that. If you have an acute, treat acute. Once the acute settle, go to the second part, that is constitutional. So it is very flat, very easy. I don't think it's difficult to understand this. It's like simple logic, simple mathematics. What you have to do is either take acute with its state properly, or correspond the totality of symptom to the most homeopathic manner possible. Strongest, best marked and most peculiar alternating state, either to cold stage, hot stage or sweat stage, etc. Accessory symptom according to one or the other alternating state should be the strongest and most peculiar. Why this? Why arsenic is covering, oh my god, 90% of the symptom? Be it simple cold, be it whatever to whatever, till the patient ends into pneumonia or pneumonia with hypoxia. Arsenic is covering 90% of the symptomatology. This is the reason, because it covers totality as well as fever, and arsenic is a prominent remedy for fever and along with respiratory problems. So here is what is the spike of corona? Fever with respiratory pathology. That's why arsenic is shining at the moment. But there are other remedies as well, but arsenic covers majority. Now what to do? This is a big problem, very, very big problem. The world doesn't know what's going to happen. Hahnemann is telling what's going to happen. That if you treat them with an acute, and the patient is free from the fever, then you have to give constitutional homeopathic medicine. That is, Dr. Bonigusen has, Hahnemann has written appreciation for very few homeopaths in his own organon. Two of them is Dr. Bonigusen and Dr. Jha, Dr. J.H.G. Jha. That's why I always recommend people to read the literature of Bonigusen and Jha. So here, if you do not treat constitutionally those people who have recovered from corona, is a big problem. We don't know. They may get, relapse again because of the exciting cause, and they may land up into another problem, or they will land us into another problem. Right? Here, Hahnemann is telling so clearly that do not give quinine sulfate, suppressing fevers. Do not give quinine sulfate to suppress fever, because ultimately, if you give chloroquine, if you give cinchona bark, if you give anti-malaria drug just to kill the intermittency of the fever, what you are doing is creating a dangerous state of health responsible for becoming a source of another big problem rather than making them to come out of the problem. It is only suppress its periodical reoccurrence by large, and repeated doses will make the person sick in another manner, and worse often much more than before. So what would happen with America? Donald Trump has asked for chloroquine, this much big quantity. They gave it to the people of America. That you take chloroquine. What is the scenario? No change. Hahnemann, Narendra Modi, our honorable Prime Minister, should read organon. President of USA, Mr. Donald Trump, should read organon. Because ultimately there is a solution with this. Don't give chloroquine. What you do is follow organon, epidemic will be settled. But unfortunately, we are not allowed to support our science to the national level, because we miss association, giving single voice to the world. Strongly, we miss that. That is the problem. Right? 236. Do's and don'ts of intermittent fever. What you should do, what you should not do. Right? How much time do I have? Okay. What we should do, what we should not do is like, whenever there is a fever, always give a medicine. This is not always. Many times fever don't have paroxysm. See, for example, you have a corona, that there is heat stage going on and on. You can't wait. But if you have intermittency, give at the end of the paroxysm. Right? So that, slowly vital force will be taken away from the natural disease with the artificial medicinal disease to cure. The best infectious time is to give termination of the paroxysm, so that you can maneuver the vital force. You can make the vital force into your direction. Otherwise, it will be a big problem. If the paroxysm, it's like if the paroxysm is going away and you give the medicine, that is at the apyrexic phase, it's the best prescription. So either give at the downfall of the paroxysm or during apyrexic stage. This is the best, where the vital force of the organism is in the best possible condition to allow itself to quietly altered by the remedy and thus restored to the healthy state. It's very, very flat. But if you don't have paroxysm, go anytime. No other chance. You have to go for it, right? And into this is again very important. When not to give the remedy. See, these two slides were when to give remedy. In the falling stage, downfall, or when there is apyrexic stage. Don't give remedy at the rising stage of the paroxysm. What will happen? Vital force will be, or the health will be too much traumatized, violent contention, too much traumatized because of the homeopathic medicine entering in the vital force into already deranged vital force. You can't predict. That's why, it's like, what a good homeopath does, wait, think, then hit. Shraddha or Saburi, faith and patience. You think 10 times before hitting it, but you don't have to think after hitting it. This is the phase. And if vital force is going into violent contention, you are in a compromised state of health, it can be very dangerous, very dangerous. I have seen only one patient in my life where I gave remedy into the rising stage of the fever, patient landed up into ICU. And I'm also a consultant in a metro hospital. See, I'm treating patients in ICU, so I know what happened with this patient afterwards. So I really feel that if the paroxysm is going up, please avoid, or go very low so that aggravation can be avoided, or maybe try to give it in water bottles. 237. 237. It's like when if the phase patient is repeatedly having fevers, and the stage of apyrexia, what you call chill stage, heat stage, sweat state, then apyrexia stage. Chill stage, heat stage, sweat state, apyrexia stage. What you call typical intermittent fever. So apyrexia stage, if the fever is coming up again and again, twice a day, thrice a day, 4 times a day, what is the time to give the medicine? In apyrexia stage. And there you get a best response. Dose of the homeopathic medicine should be administered when the perspiration state begin to reduce or other subsequent phenomena expire. This is, but if the stage of apyrexia is very short, very bad fevers, or if be disturbed by some of the after sufferings of the previous paroxysm, the dose of the homeopathic medicine should be given when perspiration starts. Because what is perspiration? What are the ways of detox? Perspiration, respiration, urination, and defecation. Right? So perspiration is a detox of the body. If the body is detoxing itself and you give the medicine, the detox will be more. So perspiration is like, making the body clean inside. Similarly, it will help to clean the disease as well. It's like this. 238. Now you have given the medicine for just a second. Friends, can I have your feedback? Are you able to receive it? Are you able to follow it out? Can I have your feedback? Am I fast? Am I slow? So thank you, everyone. I hope I am not fast. Okay. I hope I am not fast, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Very right. Okay. Thank you. So now you have given the medicine. You found the best place to prescribe. You prescribe. Now, when to repeat? There may be a chance to repeat. When we should repeat? There are 2 possibilities. One, it is only when the suitable remedy has single dose destroyed its effect and manifest its health ensured, but the new paroxysm comes, you have to repeat. If the totality fits, because in acute, change of symptom is change of medicine. But if you have the same totality, same prescription. This is very, very, very important. And you need to treat them constitutionally. Otherwise, relapse. This is the world going to face in the coming 6 months' time. That because they have not been treated homeopathically, those COVID patients who came back to normal, they are getting exposed to exciting causes or maintaining causes, they will come back to relapse. That's what is happening in US, that has happened in Italy, that has happened in China. You see, third wave of China. Delhi is also undergoing third wave, if I'm correct. This recurrence, red is the word of from the organon. This reoccurrence from the same fever after an interval of health is only possible when the noxious influences that excited first intermittent fever still continues to act upon convalescent. Noxious influence, coronavirus is everywhere. You recovered, you get again the excitation, you are a convalescent, right? You have just recovered, you are convalescent. You have recovered, you have an exciting cause again, the noxious influence, again a relapse. It's a big problem. We are going to have very bad time. This organon is telling. And believe me, if you don't protect your family, you don't protect yourself, you are going to be in a big danger. Very big danger. You know, I really respect the sentence made by Ratan Tata. 2020 is the year to survive. Forget about profit and loss. This is the truth. Because relapse is bound to happen. And we do not have that system in India. Especially India is suffering from poverty, illiteracy, economy. There is a big problem. You cannot retest those people who have turned out to be negative, can come back to positive anytime in future. Because exciting cause is everywhere. That's why, you know, permanent cure is only possible if you remove the exciting cause. You see in Surat, lot of people have left Surat. Surat is an every at the moment it is at the what you call the volcano of Corona. Ahemdabad, volcano of Corona. Lot of people have migrated from Corona. If you remove the exciting cause, there is a possibility that you get recovered. But if you are infected, you will infect other people wherever you go as well. Bombay also. A lot of people have migrated from Bombay because Bombay is a, God bless these cities, you know. This is what Hahnemann is telling, the blue lines. Move to mountainous country from the Masi district in case of mass intermittent fever. It's like this. So you have to, exciting cause you need to remove. In that case, at least you can go to different place temporarily till the epidemic is getting settled. Otherwise, you get relapse, you have a problem. Right? 239. How to treat? You have come to know when to prescribe. You have come to know, do's and don'ts of intermittent fever. You are clear to remove the cause and how you should treat by peculiar symptoms. How to treat intermittent fever? Every medicine produces peculiar fever, especially polycrest. All the epidemics will land up into polycrest. You start from scarlet fever, from where Hahnemann became famous overnight because of belladonna, till you take at the moment corona, which is more or less with arsenic, more or less with bryonia, more or less with gelsemium, more or less with whatever, polycrest. So, as almost every medicine causes in its pure action, special peculiar fever, even a kind of intermittent fever with its alternating states. Typical acute, 80% I would say, acute, during acute, the acute totality will fit to arsenic. Not even 80%, 85 to 90% I would say. Viral, what you call food poisoning. Because of virus, this virus has diarrhea. Weakness, severe prostration. Arsenic has typical prostration. Bitter taste in mouth. No tastelessness of the food. Smell, anosmia, everything is there. So in the first and second stage, this is very prominent. Even camphora, even bryonia, even gelsemium. All the remedies are coming because of the reason of this similarity, right? 240. So you have found the medicine and you have given, right? But what about relapse? What about relapse? If the relapse comes, antisoric. How to find antisoric? You remember in 103 aphorism, Hahnemann has said that when you see the acute case, you try to find out constitutional symptoms. These are soric symptoms. How to prescribe antisoric remedies? Theory of chronic disease. Proper. Very proper. But if the remedy found to be homeopathic specific for a prevalent epidemic, do not effect a perfect cure. And if it not be influence of Marsi district, soric miasm is working, you have to treat with antisorics. Then only complete recovery is obtained. Otherwise, it's not possible. Right? I'm going a little fast because we have limited time. 241. 240, I hope it is clear to you. When you treat normal, you observe them, and if they are not recovered, give antisoric immediately. Don't wait much time. 241. Genus epidemicus. What is genus epidemicus? You know, it is something which is what you call most similar, very frequent in epidemic, genus in epidemic. You know, this corona, what is corona at the moment? It is written in 241 only, composed of one single acute paroxysm. Epidemic of intermittent fever are of the nature of chronic disease, but composed of one single acute paroxysm. What is the single acute paroxysm of corona? Fever, heat stage with respiratory pathology. Corona will not produce food poisoning. Corona will not produce urinary tract infection. Corona will not produce any damn problem. The single acute paroxysm is fever with respiratory system involvement. So you need a remedy which is covering fever with respiratory pathology. So as all the remedies are going, be it arsenic, be it camphor, be it bryonia, be it gelsemium, be it whatever, antim-tart, anti-mars, from wherever to wherever. When these characteristics found in totality symptom common to all, it gives us to the discovery of homeopathic specific remedy. And it is universally serviceable, universally, who enjoyed tolerable health. That's why genus epidemics is, you know, it's something which is, it's like organon is a book of secret codes. There are a lot of secret codes in it. I always believe if Hahnemann would have in the time of Hahnemann, if there would have been a possibility of video lecturing, you know, video, then we would have 500 hours video course of Hahnemann on homeopathy. Homeopathy would have been very easy for us. What we have to understand is from the writings. Genus epidemicus is also working like, you know, similia similibus curantur and similia similibus curantur, both a curative as well as preventive. So the people who have given arsenic or given whatever preventive medicine properly, either they should not produce a problem or they should produce a limited problem. Especially Dharavi, if I am correct. I'll be happy if Bombay people can correct me if I am wrong. Dharavi is one of the most crowded area of the Asia, the biggest slum of the Asia, where the corona had to produce the greatest of explosion because there is no social distancing, no hygiene, nothing. But because over there are a lot of preventive medicines have been given, it has not flooded that much what it should have been. The whole, you know, itself, government of Gujarat, government of India, doing a lot of studies coming to the same point. But the worst part for us is we are not allowed to treat ICU. We are not allowed to treat people after the third stage. If you are allowed, we can bring them back as well. So they are actually, in a genus epidemicus is single acute paroxysm. You find that, you treat it. Acute is a chance, is an opportunity. Acute will make you famous overnight. What Hahnemann happened to scarlet fever can be happened with you as well in corona. Relapse. If there is a relapse, what to do? Constitutional, proper homeopathic treatment. And this is the big threat we are going to have. We have and we will have, is these words. If, however, either the first paroxysm of epidemic intermittent fever have yet either left uncured, if there is no treatment being made to these corona people, or patients have been weakened by improper allopathic treatment, either the corona people have not been treated, they have left alone, or they have been treated with improper allopathic treatment. The inherent sora exists in so many patients, alas, although become later and become developed, and then what will happen? Relapse. Takes on the type of intermittent fever, and all appearances continue to play the part of the intermittent fever. So expect a second wave of corona in India. Expect a third wave of corona in India. Expect maybe the fourth wave of corona in India if you can avoid these two possibilities. If you don't treat them properly, they will infect other people, they will create problems. If you treat them allopathically, there is going to be a relapse. So, what is needed is proper homeopathic Coginus epidemicus, proper homeopathic acute homeopathic care, and proper homeopathic antisoric care, follow up of an acute care. Expect the relapse of corona again. What is happening in China, what is happening in America, what is happening in Italy. There are so many countries, I tell you, so many countries like, Russia, China, where the number of the COVID people are not announced. People are not declaring the numbers, how many people they have confirmed positive. Dubai, they, the citizens of the nation will never come to know how many positive every day they have found. India being a democratic country, demo and kratos, public power. So according to the constitution, we have a right to know. So right to information, RTI kind of. So country has to produce that this many people they have found as a corona positive. But it's not happening in China, it's not happening in Russia, it's not happening in Dubai, it's not happening in so many countries. You don't know what is the exact scenario of COVID in those countries, maybe in the world, because the world is handicapped. 242. In continuation, if you have a relapse, please take my words very carefully. If the acute has left untreated or compromised with improper allopathic care, and if there is a relapse, the medicine given earlier will not work, is now no longer suitable and cannot be any service. So the first medicine we gave arsenic. If there is a relapse, you will not see arsenic. What you call complicated picture. You find some different medicine. If you have given gelsemium, if you have given camphora, if you have given whatever, and if the patient has after allopathic treatment produced a relapse, you will not find any medicine. You have to just God can help them. So Earth will become God's planet. Nobody knows what to do, where to go. We are going to have a big problem. This organon is telling us. So instead of changing the world, be wise. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your future. That is the only thing. And here, what Hahnemann is telling, we have now to do with soric intermittent fever. What 103, I had told you earlier. Find the symptoms of SORA, because acute is functional problem, then it becomes structural. So soric symptoms. Similarly here also, this aphorism, 240, soric symptom. You will come to know more or less to two medicine, hypersulfur and sulfur, which are prominent antisoric. If you see theory of chronic disease, especially practical part, Hahnemann has written 50 plus medicines which are prominent antisoric. But out of his experience seeing epidemic, because in the time of Hahnemann there were many epidemics. Now there are less epidemics, right? Or epidemics are there, but in a localized area. But this worldwide epidemic is once in century, right? Those experiences made by Hahnemann, written in the book Chronic Disease and Organon, confirms two medicines, sulfur and hypersulfur. Those people who have recovered out of corona should be consulted constitutionally. Most probably the remedy will come is sulfur and hypersulfur. This is not from me, not from my pocket. This is from Hahnemann. Last but not the least. Of course, I can go on for epidemic for maybe for one day, but I have to complete my lecture in 1.5 hours only. Maybe 1 hour 20 minutes also. Then we can take up question answers. So last aphorism, 244, is something which is very important for us to understand as well, because ultimately this is going to be our future. We have to live with corona. We have to be habituated with corona. We need to accept corona as a part of our life. Even WHO has declared. We need to, corona will be our friend. Forget about vaccination. Vaccination is going to be a bigger problem than what actually as of now what we have. It's a debatable point. I don't want to touch on to that. In fact, homeopathy is not believing in vaccination. That is a different story. Healthy man may in his youth become habituated even to march in strict and remain in good health, provided he preserves a faultless regimen and his system is not lowered by want, fatigue, or pernicious measure. So, for us to have a good health is a primary situation. We have to be habituated with corona. The WHO is telling, country is telling, the world is telling. So if you want to be habituated with corona and at the same time we are not affected by it, what we need to do is exercise. You see, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi is advising to do for breathing exercise. You do this, you do yoga, you do this, you do that, maintain good health. Then good hygiene, good regimen, diet and regimen. you know take what you call steam inhalation, warm water gargles, take warm water, do this and that. Don't pernicious passion, fatigue, or immunity should not be lowered, so don't take much stress. Just be with yourself. Let your body accustomed with corona, habituated with corona. And here is no, this is something where a person who is habituated with epidemic maintains good health. If develops some symptom, should be treated with China. 1 or 2 small doses of highly potentized cinchona, conjointly with well-regulated mode of life, speedily free from the disease. So what should be here? If we get sick, in spite of maintaining good health, in spite of maintaining good hygiene, in spite of maintaining good life, just take whatever is your medicine coming up constitutionally. You will be free. But you can't make yourself sure that your parents will be healthy, your people will be healthy, your family will be healthy. You have to make them healthy as well. My whole family has taken constitutional homeopathic care. My father, my mother, my brother, my wife, everybody. My whole family have been treated constitutionally by me so that they should not develop corona. If at all they develop, I will battle. Right? And into this, the person who are taking physical corporal exercise, a very healthy man, in spite of taking cinchona, in spite of taking China, in spite of having good regimen, cannot be cured by the fever. You need to be treated with anti-soric treatment. Again, everywhere you see local disease, anti-soric, mental disease, anti-soric, intermittent disease, forget about intermittent fever, intermittent disease, anti-soric, intermittent fever, anti-soric, because Sora is the mother of all the miasm. Sora is everywhere. So you just need to handle the proper what you call anti-soric care. How to treat anti-soric is theoretic disease, right? So if sometimes happens that when patients exchange without delay, Marsi district to some good place, dry mountainous place, a lot of people will recover. Say for example, a patient has asthma and he's staying in somewhere near seashore, and he's worse, you have to advise the patient that you change the place of life. Similarly, you have to advise the patient to change the place of what you call from where you are getting infection. Sora will become latent, but if they do not regain a perfect health, anti-soric treatment, proper anti-soric treatment. Okay. So the last slide is about how you can help yourself, how you can help your family, how you can help society, how you can help the people suffering because of the epidemics. If they are healthy, no problem. If they are moderately healthy, give them advice to have, proper exercise, proper lifestyle, proper diet, proper regimen. Sora, if not fully developed, probably preventive will work, genus epidemicus will work. And if at all giving the medicine, if at all giving the even constitutional medicine, patient doesn't recover properly, you have to give proper antisoric care. And that is what is importance of diet and regimen. Good physical exercise, absence of pernicious passion, and removal of maintaining cause is a must. That's why whole world, what is maintaining cause? What is what you call social distancing? You are removing the maintaining cause. Diet, regimen, good physical exercise, breathing exercise, what you call pranayam, this and that, everything. Pernicious, avoid stress, avoid concerns will bring you to a back to normal life, right? So last but not the least, I conclude my talk, but I want to share you something which is related to epidemic, but for acute, because epidemic is an acute disease. I want you to read paragraph 5, 72, 73. What is acute disease? Acute case taking, proper acute case taking. 92, 95, 99, 149, 152, 162, 262, 263 will really help you. How to treat acute disease? After giving the medicine, what do you expect? Is 149, 152, 153, 157, 158. Diet and regimen 262 to 263. Frequency and repetition. Acute disease 3, 183, 246, 247, 248. After giving the medicine, what do you expect? Similia similibus curantur. 27, 68, 148, 157, 282. How cure takes place? 68, 148, 155, 186, 282. How to find PQRS symptom for best prescription? 133, 153, 154, 164, 165, 178. And at the end, potency selection. 3, 168, 170, 246, 247, 248. Mode of application 228, 246, 288, 289, 290, 291, 292. And as a result, signs of civil war 157, 253, 254, 255. And last but not the least, this is for Samuel Hahnemann. You see, corona, what epidemic? As a result, the epidemic of corona, what we are witnessing now, is mentioned by Hahnemann 250 years ago approximately. And this is a beautiful painting in my chamber, and I always take his blessings before I prescribe. This is the word what Hahnemann, what Dr. John Ware has written for Hahnemann. When great people die, it is said that they leave their ideas, thoughts, desires, even senses for the future generations to come. And in corona, this will help us. His ideas will help us, his thoughts will help us, his desires will help us, his sense will help us. It is going to be more than 2.5 centuries years past. Dr. Hahnemann still alive like a glowing mask in his work. Hahnemann was not always been, not up to date, but before date, and that still obtains. And this is true for today. Right? Hahnemann is always with us, and that's why I always tell to the world that I'm proud child of Samuel Hahnemann, because meeting Hahnemann dynamically is the best thing ever happened in my life, and I'll be eternally grateful to his teachings and to his knowledge. So I conclude my talk here. Whoever wishes to communicate to me can for the education or for hospital. This is the maybe visit my website. You will get an information, and I'll be open for your questions. I'm open for discussions. I'm ready for questions from you if you want to ask. This is my contact details. So I'll be very happy uh, to hear from you. And also, once again, to conclude my talk, I convey my sincere gratitude and deepest, regards to Dr. Yamini as well as Dr. Vaibhav for inviting me and giving this platform to speak what I've received as a student of homeopathy. And yes, homeopathy junction is a definite junction where you want to wait, where you want to stay, where you want to live, and where you want to what you call achieve if you want to be a good homeopath. So homeopathy junction is a real junction of homeopathy, and I really inspire the activities being done by you people, and I'm always available for your service. Thank you very much. I conclude my talk here.
Thank you so much, sir. It was wonderful and amazing, amazing presentation. And we all reminded our old days of reading and studying organon in college. This is really amazing.
Thank you.
And
I hope it, yeah, please, please.
okay. So, sir, there are few questions. Should I read the questions for you?
Yeah, please. No problem.
Yeah. Your voice is little low.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
okay.
need to shout them. Yeah.
So, Dr. Srimai Shukla is asking, please suggest how to study organon.
Well, maybe I can give a, but I need 15 minutes for that. 15 to 20 minutes. Maybe some other time I can tell you. But what I can tell you is like, uh, how to study organon. Organon, to study organon is very easy. Let me tell you frankly. To practice homeopathy is also very easy. You can earn 1 lakh rupee in a month or even a 2 lakh rupee in a month very easily. What is difficult is to master the science. To learn homeopathy, or to practice homeopathy is very easy. But the only thing which is it's difficult to master. You can have a lot of money with homeopathy, that is for sure. Learning organon is something which is you have to have your medical dictionary with you, local dictionary of whatever language you have. I used to have Gujarati dictionary. I'm basically from Gujarat, right? So English to Gujarati dictionary, reading single aphorism for 3 times. Whether I understand it or I don't understand it, I always used to read 3 times. And this I used to do in my internship because the way I met to Hahnemann is a big story. To focus direct on Hahnemann, because bypassing all the other authors is a story of my life, which sometime I can tell you. But I always believe that whatever prescription I give, whatever understandings I give, is directly coming from Hahnemann source book, be it Mater Medica Pura, be it Theory of Chronic Disease, be it Organon, or be it his lesser writings. But to read organon is something you have to read a single aphorism 3 times with your local language dictionary translation, and read it when you have a good peace of mind, because organon is a heavy book. It's a heavy book. Some books have to be tasted, some books have to be digested, sorry, some books have to be tasted, some books have to be chewed, and some books have to be digested. Organ is a book you have to digest, and it should flow in your blood. So you have to read it when you have time and convenience. Yes, madam.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. So, um, many people have asked in between also that how to treat corona and how you approached COVID patients.
I had mentioned everything here. Maybe whenever you upload the lecture on YouTube, or maybe wherever, Facebook or YouTube, you share them a link. They will have a look again, and then they can
Yes.
write to me. They can write to me. I can respond to them.
Okay.
We don't treat corona basically. We treat patient having corona. It's again an individuality. And
Yes.
corona is a very weak virus. It has only 2 to 3% of what you call the seriousness. So 97% you are having a good success rate. So more or less, once you start treating it, you will get it in a greatest of benefits and greatest of joy as a prescriber.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Also, one last question. Dr. Shukla is again asking that should we take disposition in consideration in corona treatment?
What is disposition? What
Disposition.
is in? What is disposition? What is predisposition? And what is indisposition? Disposition, predisposition, and indisposition. This is very important. And I intend to conclude in less than 1 minute. Predisposition is what you have received from our parents, right? The predisposition of diabetes, blood pressure, etc., etc. Indisposition is disturbances of the mental or emotional, physical level, 150 aphorism. Disposition, coming to your point, disposition you can only come to know once it is deranged. You cannot come to know the disposition unless it is deranged. Patient has disposition for coryza because he has repeated coryza, he has a tendency. within this position of tonsillitis. Recurrent tonsillitis is this. So in corona, this position for viral disease or whatever, if here is a relapse, what is important is ultimately totality. Totality is the 17 and 18 aphorism. Totality of the symptom is the only way to cure, the best way to cure. So you take proper case, what I mentioned about 100 to 103 aphorism, proper case taking, proper prescribing according to 234 onwards the aphorisms, and then you treat. It's very easy. If you want to learn from Dr. Shah, his online sessions, well, we have our Organon Access to Success series going on, and in a very short period of time, we are launching 4 series. That is Organon Access to Success Part 4. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3 have turned out to be a very high success. So we are coming up with Part 4. If you are interested, definitely we'll be very happy to have you. And along with that, I also request Dr. Shuklaji, Dr. Shrimai Shuklaji, that please be in touch with Homeopathy Junction as well, because these people are doing wonderful work, and you can learn from them as well.
Great. So, Dr. Shukla, you're asking how to access it. So, sir, I guess it's with BGen and your series of
What it is?
Organon Access to Success.
It is with it is by our academy, that is Samuel Hahnemann Academy for Homeopathy, with Homeopathy 33360. But you can write to us, or maybe I can share you my email. Just a second.
Yes.
Dr. Shah.
So you people can directly mail to sir.
Yeah,
The
no
mail
problem.
ID is already on the screen, drshah@drkrutikshah.com. And
It's in my website.
you can ask, and you can also visit his website. I guess all the details of courses, phone numbers are there on the screen itself. You can directly contact him for any courses, for further information related to his courses, his practice, and other things also if you have any questions. So thank you so much, sir, for your precious time. And it was a wonderful session. We have learned a lot from you, and we would be
I'll be
really
very happy to. I'll be very happy to have your honest remark. You can tell frankly
so
if you
really,
have
I'm
something.
telling you frankly, this was really amazing. It really, I told you, na, it really reminded me of my college days, and organon was it was my favorite subject. So it was, it always gives you a kind of that memory of reading again and again. So these days also, I always personally me, I always keep reading organon, and I believe that we all should read it at least twice or thrice a year, and that really helps. That actually deletes your doubt and keeps you going in the practice.
Very well.
So thank you so much for sharing this wonderful presentation, and it was really needed in this hour, because we are actually dealing with this pandemic, and everybody is so um, um, I guess affected by corona and everything, and people now, the public is also looking up to the homeopathic fraternity for cure, and for a lot of other things also, even the after effects of corona, any pandemic, the emotional after effect and everything is there, and we can really very well deal with it being a homeopath.
Definitely, yes, and I also strongly believe, and my I have always a strong voice amongst the allopathy community where I live.
Yeah.
I am. It's like virus, especially if you consider virus. Allopathy has no direct medicine. You consider
Yes.
be it a simple viral fever or AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. There is
Mhm.
no direct medicine which will give a permanent cure, or maybe a proper justified cure. Most of the viruses are self-limiting. That's why they claim that they cured you, but it's not actually self-recovery. But so this is a big problem. The world is now coming where the allopathy is great in America, great in Italy. They are onto their knees now.
Yes.
So this the world is coming to the reality that the impression was is now getting changed. and that is where homeopathy is coming to, on the shining side. That's what I always believe, that, proud to be a homeopath and proud child of Samuel Hahnemann.
Yes, and we have many examples like this. Maybe it is swine flu or leptospirosis or anything like that. Even chikungunya, and in India specifically, the swine flu and chikungunya was treated very well with homeopathy,
Yes.
and we have like documented results and publications and everything. And similarly with COVID also, though our government is not granting us the permission to treat the severe cases, but in mild cases and otherwise also, a lot of people are treating COVID and other epidemic illnesses, and they are getting great results, just like Hahnemann and other stalwarts. So it's a great chance for us to grow and to share all these things, and this was really needed. So when you told me this topic, so I was very excited for this, and I'm really thankful. Weber was also very excited, and he was also very thankful to you that you took up this. It was really needed for all of us. And thank you so much to all the participants who have joined. Please keep sharing your feedback so that it we can grow after your feedback. So keep sharing your
Also,
feedback on our Insta page also and on Facebook. Yes, sir. Please, you're saying
yes,
something.
and I also wish to thank Dr. Ritu ji, one of the wonderful senior homeopaths from Rajasthan,
Okay.
for her remark. Madam, in fact, I am really grateful to meet you as a homeopath, and in fact, you are my inspiration as well. So thank you very much for attending, and thank you very much for this message. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, doctor, for attending.
Thank you.
And have a good time to all of you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.